Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Coreman, and today we are back with another podcast video, and I am joined with Noah.
Hello again!
So originally we were going to put a Nintendo Success podcast up, but then some crap happened and we kind of had to scrap it. So instead you guys saw the us hunting random monsters video. So sorry we couldn't get that podcast up. If you guys want to know what it was about, we were doing Nintendo's most recent success they had with Black Friday, them being the #1 selling product. We're talking about Capcom basically supporting the Switch more now after it hit 10 million. Sort of just weird how they jumped on a little late. But it was just stuff like that. We were going to say what we predicted for 2018, but I think everyone's just about doing that. But we are back today with Monster Hunter. I know everyone's been waiting for this. Every 28 subscriber and all. Everyone has been waiting for this next podcast because it seems like everyone really likes these Monster Hunter podcasts. So Noah and I are going to talk about really interesting points. We're going to talk about the leaked... Oh, Noah, I forgot. We had the leaked monster list. We're going to talk about the leaked monster list, the leak that happened in October 2016 that pretty much confirmed Double Cross, Worlds, and other stuff like that, and see how valid it is at this point. And then we're going to talk about Gaijin Hunter and Microtransactions. So we have a lot of stuff to dive into. So if all of you just sit back, relax, we are going to start off with our first point. Noah, it is good to have you back again in these podcasts. I am sure the audience will be glad to hear your points of view on here.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate them at least.
Alright, so what we have right here, we're going to go into this first point, which is the leak that basically confirmed Monster Hunter World's Double Cross and basically introduces the theory that Sony paid off Capcom to keep the game only on themselves, but not to go to Switch. So I'm going to read this leak off. This was posted on 4chan. The 4chan, if you guys know what this is, I'll try and find a link in the description and put it there if you guys want to see it for yourselves. But it essentially says, Monster Hunter Double Cross was just leaked to me. Monster Hunter 5 was just leaked to me. Monster Hunter 5 was paid by Sony because they are desperate for Japan. Monster Hunter 5 contract specifically forbids Switch release but doesn't care about Xbox or PC. Monster Hunter 5 is open world, combat is being changed to be more acceptable for the West, and the timer and missions are gone. Monster Hunter Portable is coming back, and it's Switch exclusive. Portable keeps the old mechanics. There's a huge internal strife going on at Capcom. I hope my friend is just screwing with me. Wow, that is... how do we put it? Nobody believed this leak when it came out, but looking at it now, almost everything, if not just everything in general, has come true with that leak. What do you think, Noah?
As you just said, almost everything has been confirmed, and there was little reason not to believe that the rest of the points won't come true in the future.
Yeah, and then it just speaks on that. This is where, honestly, the pay theory happened. Like, in this leak right here, because nobody believed this whenever it first came out. But now, it's like, it's the fourth point, I believe, on here? Yeah, it's the fourth point of this leak. And it says, contract specifically forbids Switch release, but doesn't care about Xbox or PC. Well, we know World is coming to Xbox and PC later, potentially because they probably got screwed over by that timed exclusivity deal that Sony did. And it also confirms Double Cross coming to the Switch. So, this is scary. We had the developer of Monster Hunter World, or the person who's over in Europe, I think his name's Socks, I think. He basically said that this was the next-gen Monster Hunter game. And it says right here in this leak, Monster Hunter 5 was just leaked to me. And it says, open world, combat is being changed to be more acceptable for West, and the timer missions are gone. The timer, as of now, if we've seen the beta, there's no timer. There is a time limit. That's different. That's weird wording. Don't let that get you thrown off. And missions are gone. I'm not so sure what it means about missions. But I think what it means by that is you don't get sent back to the hub once you complete your quest. If that's what I'm getting here. But
Right.
all right, so I've talked for about like 5 minutes now. Noah, do you have any thoughts on this payoff theory?
It has a lot of traction. There's only one way to really know, and that's if someone can truly confirm it. But I still really believe that it's very possible, considering what Capcom and Sony, I should say, not Capcom, Sony has done in the past. They've had timed exclusives, so that's a proven fact that they've paid developers to withhold games from other systems such as the Xbox and PC, in order to basically get that share in the market and devalue the other ports. So people would choose their product over the other one. So yeah, there's a lot of good reason to believe that this is true.
Okay. Now, before everyone just goes ahead and says, "Oh, it's from 4chan. You can't make this." May I remind you that this was posted on the month of October, because it's 10. It's posted on the 27th of October in 2016. That is okay. Let's do the math here. November.
That's 7 days after the Switch was first announced to the world.
All right, and it says right here, it's the portable game is Switch exclusive, and Double Cross just was leaked for the Switch. So let's count the months. When did they announced World in June? So November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. It literally predicted Worlds 8 months before it was out.
Crazy.
Not only is that crazy, it pretty much confirms everything that we've seen about Worlds so far. There's no timer. The combat mechanics are slower. So I think we should really, really, really dissect this leak more now. Now, everyone, it's hard to find. Where I found it was on a Japanese website, but there was a sort of a, how do I put it? There was a discussion, I think it was in GameFAQs, and it basically linked to the Japanese website where this link was at. So it's really huge that I was able to find this, because it was so hard to find. I tried searching up Google for this. I've been looking for this leak since World's announcement, because I was like, oh my god, that leak was basically confirmed. And I know it was floating around somewhere, but here it is. It's right here. I'm reading it off, and if you guys want to see it, I will gladly leave it in the description. But this is just, I'm having a hard time fathoming to believe this. I don't want to believe that Capcom basically took this money. If what we're seeing here is developing, I don't want to believe that Capcom took that money and just went anti-consumer, but they're known for going anti-consumer.
Right.
Okay. So we basically discussed the Sony payoff theory that originated from this. We discussed Double Cross. Now, let's talk about Portable 5. Or the Portable, it just says Portable is coming back. In all honesty, I don't know what this means. Maybe they... Noah, do you think... we had this in our last podcast together where we talked about essentially us coming... is Double Cross coming? And I think from this leak, if everything goes the way as a plan as it's going right now, I don't think we get Double Cross now.
Yeah, I've never thought we were going to get Double Cross. That's why I got it for
yeah, Switch.
That's why I got it for the Switch. Yeah.
All right. So that is really, 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 really critical and hard-hitting evidence, if you ask me. And I think that kind of is the nail in the coffin. Maybe the reason why this isn't easy to find now is because the dude who posted it probably tried to get it off because Capcom was like, why did you post this information? But the thing is, though, the person who submitted it is anonymous. Now, everyone's just like, you gotta take leaks with a grain of salt. Yeah, that's the case. But that is whenever leaks are fresh.
Right.
Here we have a leak that is over a year old.
And has, for the most part, many parts of it has been confirmed.
Yeah, so this is honestly, I think everything goes through with this. Now, time for part two, or actually part three of this. We talked about the validity, I think that's how you say it, of the leak, and we talked about portable. Oh no, we didn't talk about portable. We just talked about the whole does double cross come to the Switch now? We think no, definitely no, because I think this leak may be confirming some things here for us. Uh, Monster Hunter Portable, what does it look like? What is it? Is it made by the main dev team? Is it made by the Double Cross team, Generations team? Like, what do we have here? Do we have, like, a game that's finally going to... Is it going to move at 60 frames per second like 4 Ultimate did because it's going to take advantage of the Switch's engine? Or is it going to be like Double Cross in a way, where it's just like the same crap over and over?
I don't know. I would think that it probably would take advantage if it's being developed solely for the Switch. Then they're probably going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's what I think, because it says here that the Switch was already well known. So could one argue that Capcom had dev kits via this leak? Okay.
It's very likely.
All right. So we have the whole they didn't get dev kits, but if they knew about the Switch beforehand, that means Worlds was probably in development for the Switch.
Yeah.
Now, everyone who's watching this isn't me saying this definitely happened. This is me saying this is what theoretically happened.
Yeah. Basically, if it is real, then this is probably what happened.
Yeah, and if that's the case, holy crap, that is just low for Sony. I think that takes all-time low to a nearest level, because didn't they have like an interview the other day, or they're like, oh, the Switch is a problem, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do about it. But then 4 months beforehand, they're like, we don't have to compete with it.
Right.
So I don't know where the fine line is here with Sony's, I don't know, lying interviews. Capcom's getting really good at it, and we'll get that into a later point of the video about the whole microtransaction crap that they just confirmed. But I want to talk about this last point on this leak, and that is the huge internal strife at Capcom. Now, Noah and I have had a few theories about what this strife is. Now, for those of you who don't know what strife means, strife kind of means like struggle, anger, anguish, drama, things of that matter.
I think people know what strife is.
You'd be surprised. Yeah. So Noah, first, since I've been talking for like the majority of the video, I want to hear what you think about. Oh crap! I forgot to mute my Discord. I'm gonna do that real quick. Noah, what do you think this whole eternal strife is? And then I'll give my 2 cents on it while I'm muting my Discord.
So, what do you mean?
Like, I mean, like, what do you think the internal strife is? Because remember, we talked about this theory together.
Right. The eternal strife. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, it could be the fact that that some of the devs felt wrong or bad that they were being paid off to just make for Sony, but at the same time it could be something different, something even more sinister than that.
You see, that's what I see happening too, but it could also be the fact that they were probably they didn't want to make a World-esque game. But since Capcom already went behind their backs and said, well, deal's done, guys, you're going to have to follow our rules. Like, you're going to have to scrap whatever game you're making for the Switch and start making this game. This is the product that our new market that we're trying to get into wants. And, guys, I don't know, that may not sound as major. They're like, oh, they could just suck it up. That's basically, okay, imagine you're an artist, okay? Noah, you're an artist. So
I am an artist.
Imagine if someone came to you and you were working on something, called your design trash, and then told you to start completely over from scratch because it wasn't good enough.
That would be that. you know that actually is probably the worst thing you can tell an artist, except please draw me. Like, the two worst things, your art is trash or please draw me. That's the two things that you never want to hear as an artist.
Okay, so this is what the internal strife can become of. It's like, well, we're already in this product, and you basically just wasted so much money and effort into making this game. Because World could have already been. This is theory, by the way. Because World could have been coming to the Switch, and they were like, oh my god, but Capcom, we were already making this for Nintendo, and now we're going to get huge backlash due to your awful decision making and not basically telling us what's going on behind the scenes. That, honestly, if this is what happened, this is more screwed up than it gets. Because not only did Capcom just screw over their fans, they screwed over their own employees, if this is the case. And I think this takes, like, it takes it to a new low. This is like EA type of crap.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I think, and this is like my honest belief, I think some of the devs were like, no, this is not good. We're going to get backlash. And this is going to sound like pure conspiracy mode, but I got to do it to make this podcast a little interesting. I think whoever protested got fired.
Mm. It could potentially be happening, but I wouldn't. Again, I don't really necessarily believe that. I'm just saying, again, take it with as much grain of salt as you can.
Yeah.
Because that would be like even lower than EA in a sense.
Yeah, like, oh, you're pro-consumer. Okay, well, screw you. Get out. That's kind of like this whole crap with like net neutrality going on. But that's like a different topic.
you want innovation and a free market on the internet? Go fuck yourself. Exactly.
This is essentially. I'm pretty sure this didn't happen, but I'm talking about in terms of, if we're talking about internal strife, this is with the dev team. But the thing is, this leak doesn't really specify if it's between the Monster Hunter dev team. So it could not even be particularly anything. This is where the wild speculation comes in. So take all these for a grain of salt, guys. But seriously, if anything like this did happen, oh my god, I'd feel bad for those devs. They basically just they stood up for what was right and they got fired. That would be terrible if that was the thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Just be a.
All right, it'd be a what?
It would be an awful thing.
Yes, it would. All right. So, off of that, we basically, wow, that was a good chunk. 18 minutes just covering the leak. That was pretty good.
Right.
So, it was leaked not too long ago, and this is leading into the second point right now, if you guys are following us right now. There was a whole list of monsters that were leaked into World. Needless to say, the list is pretty
shallow.
Yeah, but I called that happening because that's what Capcom always does. This is sad. Well, Noah and I have been harking that they won't put Devil Joe into World because it would absolutely mess up the game. Because of all
would destroy the game.
He would destroy the game. Yeah. I'll let you take this one over if you want, Noah.
But guess what?
What?
In the leak, guess what? Guess whose ugly mug shows up himself in the leak? None other than Devil Joe.
Yeah, and
none other than the brute wyvern who fucked everyone's day up in Tryon 3 Ultimate.
Yeah. It's I was like, oh my god, they did not just do that. and then I saw the leak list. I'm like, oh my goodness, Capcom, you don't even know what your own game and lore is, because Devil Joe literally goes around and eats everything. Okay, I can already tell you how to beat Worlds without even damaging the monster. Find a Devil Joe, because they are very common to find. That is if high rank does exist in this game. So, find a Devil Joe in high rank, find your target monster, get the Devil Joe to chase you all the way to the target monster. Unless they have
Profit.
something, unless the Devil Joe has like a I lose interest in you if you keep running away. They're probably gonna have to like reprogram how he works. Like all honesty, if you use regular Devil Joe in his lore and put it in world, he's just gonna absolutely steamroll through the game. Your target
Yeah,
monster will get killed, no doubt.
yeah. Because he is literally in the lore the apex monster of pretty much anything, any biome he goes into.
He hunts monsters into extinction. So are they gonna rewrite the lore for Devil Joe?
Like if they did, I would never forgive them.
That basically, I
And
mean,
I know someone who absolutely loves Devil Joe, who would never forgive them like double as much.
uh, well, he's in world, man. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle him because Devil Joe eats everything, as we just mentioned, and I don't really like this addition. I think it's a great thing that they're trying to add old monsters. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate World for trying to do that,
Yeah,
but
I appreciate that they're actually because I was scared that they wouldn't add enough returning monsters. That was like my main concern. Like holy crap, they're going to forget all the cool monsters that I love to fight back in uh 3 ultimate, 4 ultimate, double cross and stuff. But then at least I mean I'm pretty sure that now since Delojo has been in 3 generations in a row, I'm guessing he's going to become the new
Wrath.
Rathalos Diablos.
Well, he became really popular in Try. That's why he came back for all those times because his
Yeah,
theme's good, weapons are good, his fight's fun. He's very fat. Well, he was fast paced in the old games. Since they slowed the combat down, it's gonna be interesting to see how they
approach
fix.
that.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about a slowed down Devil Joe fight. That sounds really awful, if you ask me. Um,
Not a good pleasant time if you ask me.
Well, if the gameplay slowed down from like we've seen from the beta, and oh god, this is sort of getting into the next point, which is what we thought about the beta gameplay and addressing. I don't know who commented on our last podcast who said we should go back and look at our criticisms, which we did, and we were going to address those in the third point. But I think the issue just comes down to if you're going to change the gameplay, you're going to have to change how the monster works, and that's probably what they're going to do with Dojo. Honestly, I wouldn't be expecting the same fight if I was. If you're a Dojo fan, guys, I wouldn't be expecting the same fight.
Which is the unfortunate truth.
Yeah, that's all I got to say. So, what now? With all these other monsters coming in, are they going to change the mechanics of them too? They didn't seem to change Rathalos too much, other than the fact that he seems to have a terrible I'm gonna run away the 4 seconds I land AI, but he's always flying in freaking generations, so in Double Cross. I can get around that fact, but it's the way on how he works in this game. It seems like it's much worse than it was before.
Yeah.
I think he flies around more than Dread King, and Dread King flies around a lot.
Right.
So, Noah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that because of the new kind of map, every single monster should get some sort of redesign to compensate for that.
But you take away what made them good in the first place.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's just what gets me on why they probably shouldn't have made like this open world and crap. Like, call me a hater all you want. You have to change way too many aspects, and this was the issue I saw that they were going to run into. They're going to have to. If you don't change Devil Joe and try to incorporate a Devil Joe from the older games, you're going to have broken combat. All you'll have to do is just find Devil Joe and pretty much just get him to attack the monster because he's an apex predator. Because they wanted to try and go for this interactive monster crap. I do appreciate them bringing back the old monsters, though. Some of them were weird. Like, you had Lavasioth. I don't think a lot of people really liked that fight.
Yeah, It's an interesting fight.
There wasn't even they didn't even re-add Nargacuga or Tigrex. That's what really surprised me.
Like, I do like I originally hated Tigrex, but that's because I was a fucking noob. You know,
Yeah,
super fast monster. Literally first game I've ever played. Um, so yeah, it's not gonna be a fun time. But like, eventually I learned to love him, like in his quirky ways. And
oh, excuse me, I burped a little bit.
uh,
Were you going to say something?
no.
Oh,
Actually, it was. So yeah, I learned to love him in his quirky like ways, and I learned that like he actually is a relatively easy mon to fight if you know what you're doing.
Striker Hammer destroys him. Like, you literally can flinch lock him with Striker Hammer. All you need is that one art that I still don't know the name of to this day. To any of you who know what I'm talking about, it's the art in Double Cross that they added to Hammer where your hunter sort of like points the hammer upward and then it like gets all charged up and then it cuts the slam down attack in half. It basically makes the animation faster. If you have that, it's over. Yeah, I should look it up sometime, but we need to get back to the point about the returning monsters and what we're surprised about not returning. I'm honestly more surprised that Tigrex isn't there, Nargacuga isn't there. This is going to sound weird, and a lot of people hate him. Yain Garuga and Yain Kutku not being there are surprising too.
Yeah, Garuga was the only bird wyvern that was worth its salt. It was the only difficult bird wyvern, like one that would even rival that. I would even argue that Garuga is actually harder to fight than Rathalos.
It depends. If you're fighting the 140 version, which I can verify, I have soloed one of those before, don't ever do that. It's not even worth it. The rewards you get for just soloing him in the first place are terrible.
I'm just saying, like, in some cases, he is definitely more of a threat than
Rathalos.
Rathalos, even though Rathalos is considered one of the most threatening and feared flying wyverns in the entire lore. Like, that's one thing I always hated about Rathalos is that his fight is actually nothing like what his lore is supposed to be. He's supposed to be this terrifying, like, oh my god, he's going to fucking burn down villages, he's going to destroy the very nature of humanity just by just breathing. But then he fucking just flies around and it's he really is just a fucking annoyance. He's almost as annoying as Kutku.
At least Kutku is swift hammer to the head, it's dead.
At least Kutku is easy to fight. Rathalos is just a bunch of cheap moves mixed into one wyvern.
Even more amplified when you're fighting Dread King.
Yeah, Dread King.
So, honestly,
I not recommend getting his armor.
I didn't see Rajang either. Was Rajang there?
Rajang was not there, and I was also surprised at that. I was shouldn't isn't like he like him and Devil Joe like now like he Devil Joe and Brachydios. Those three should be in the game because those are the most unique monsters. They don't actually have true subspecies. Instead, they have those
variants.
The variants, yeah, and that basically all are just a play on words of rage or anger. You got Savage Joe. You got Raging Brachydios, and you've got Furious Rajang. So yeah.
Honestly, Kieran, it's a matter of who's the fan favorite. I'm honestly going to go back to Garuga. He's my favorite monster. You guys know there's like Garuga stuff all over the freaking YouTube channel. You should know that by now. But I don't think they can add him because look at what he can do in every Monster Hunter game. In a sense, he knows what type of game he's playing. Look at the 140 Guild Quest. He essentially knew that I am faster and stronger than the hunter. All I have to do is just use my beak slam, and the hunter will not be able to approach me whatsoever unless he is using an insect glaive. So I think they wanted to probably add Garuga, but like I said, it's just if they'd have to change so much to where it probably wouldn't be even Garuga anymore. And Garuga, I think they had an interview. That was like one of their funnest monsters, or their most fun monster to develop, because he's just so unnatural and glitchy. So I don't think they can have that in World, because their main push for World is that they don't want it to look glitchy, even though that beta suggested something different.
Exactly. That beta, though.
That beta. We'll get into that in the next point, and then we will get into our final point of the podcast. But yeah, I'm glad they brought back old monsters, but the lack of heavy hitters is kind of concerning. Like Tigrex.
One monster I was really hoping that would return. The one monster, it was Zinogre, and instead we got two really crappy looking wannabe Fang Wyverns that completely ruined my view of what a Fang Wyvern would be.
Wasn't he the only fanged wyvern at that point?
He was the only Fang Wyvern for like 2 generations. Basically, he was created in Portable Third as the first, and then you had Stygian, and after that, nothing.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't really like Zinogre, like his personality. He has this pompous. I think the fight's fun, and his theme's great, but I just don't like his personality. It's like he actually has a personality. It's like, look at me, I'm much better than you. Come hit me, Hunter. And it's like, bro, I have swords from a god. Get on my level. It's kind of like something like that. So I know there are a lot of Zinogre.
I actually really fucking love Zinogre. I'm sorry.
No, I like the fight and the his
theme,
design.
Theme of course is probably the best in the series.
It's just his freaking attitude that gets on my nerves. I don't know what it is. It's like I kind of like that he has an attitude too, because it's like easier to relate to him.
Right.
But out of all of that, I know a lot of people are bummed, and honestly, it's a shame they didn't add him in. He was introduced on a Sony system, Portable Third.
Yeah.
So
he's not even a Nintendo monster. The only reason he's would be considered a Nintendo monster is that he's on a 3rd generation, originally created on a Nintendo system.
And I think it's going to boil back down to this monster destroys our absolute gameplay, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. Because if you remember, he summons the Thunderbugs. I think you can actually see and if you think about it, he would have been a great monster to interact with this environment type they're trying to run. So I just don't get it. Why you have these monsters that have so much potential to take advantage of an environment, and you don't execute them at all. You have Zinogre, which can pretty much interact with all the Thunderbugs in the area, make it look really freaking cool.
One thing you could have done is like have Zinogre actually control the tracking bugs and like disrupt them, because the Thunderbugs are in the area and are competing. Wouldn't that be cool? Like Zinogre would be harder to track because his own bugs are like, his own bugs are interfering.
You just have to look for a massive paw print and you'd find them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, because you do this to tracking bugs, and then he uses his Thunderbugs, so he could easily like have them disrupt the tracking bugs, rendering them useless. That will give a unique. Of course, I hate the idea of the
tracking
bugs. Like, seriously.
I'm not a big fan.
And the random location for the monster, I guess, makes more sense in this quote-unquote open world, but like at the same time, you'd think they would be still spawn in a certain location rather than be randomly on the map.
Yeah. So I think we've talked about this list enough. We think it was a good addition to try and bring these monsters back. This is going to sound petty, but Honestly, I don't see a lot of fan favorites here. I see Kirin, Orochi Kirin, all the Jin too, Elder Dragons. Nobody likes Kushala. Let's be. Who likes Kushala?
Is there even Chameleos?
Yeah, I know. I saw Teostra and I saw Kushala, so they have to have Chameleos. She's basically a part of that trio.
Yeah, or I don't know.
So, I'm going to assume. I know a lot of people like Chameleos, a lot of people like Teostra. Kushala is weird. Nobody liked him for some unknown reason. I think it's because he's either too hard if you don't have a poison weapon, or too easy if you have a poison weapon. So, it falls on who you're dealing with, and I think that is a good spot to end with this point. We're actually going to have a pretty beefy. Crap, that sounded really wrong.
just ignore it. Just ignore it.
Yeah, that came out of my mouth. We're gonna have a pretty chunky podcast today, so hopefully you guys are going to enjoy probably an hour. This is looking like an hour and 10 minutes, dude, because we're gonna talk about another thing we have to voice, and that is the beta itself. We're basically playing catch up because we've been like a week behind on these podcasts. So,
yes.
On our last video, like, we covered Kanta playing the beta, and there was one dude who commented a very nice comment, and I said I would acknowledge your comments if you said something constructive, and this person was constructive, and he said you want to make sure you go back and make sure you know what you're talking about with this game. Well, I've seen beta gameplay, and from what I'm still seeing, I think the jumping, I don't know if it's supposed to happen or not, but it just still looks so unnatural, with the hunter just randomly flinging himself all over the place. And
yeah.
My point still, I acknowledge the point, my point still stands on the monsters having this weird broken AI, because if you've seen before, for some reason they just run away from unknown unknown things. Let's say you're fighting Rathalos, because this happened to Kanta quite a bit. He was fighting Rathalos. Rathalos would land, and then he'd just get up and fly away. Like, literally 4 seconds when he would land. And this was happening to other people in our Discord group. This is what I meant by terrible AI. If there was any misconceptions there about us not knowing what was going on. We knew what was going on to begin with, but we had to look at it more. So, to whoever commented that, we appreciate the constructive criticism. We will be sure to take more things in context with this beta, because there's another beta coming up, I believe, on the 22nd, I think, but that'll be more things to look out for, honestly.
Yeah.
So, let's get into what we thought into the beta after looking into it more. I gotta tell you, Noah, I'm not really confident.
In what?
Just the way on how I'm playing Double Cross, the game feels fast, and 4 Ultimate, it's like I feel it's slower than 4 Ultimate. And then just watching World, I know it was a low rank, so you could argue that, oh, it's just the low rank, so it's going to be slow. But even then, the low rank of Generations and Double Cross was pretty fast.
Yeah.
Everything seemed like it was moving in slow motion. Now, I guess you could argue that it's in 30 frames per second, but that's honestly not what bothers me. I've been playing Monster Hunter in 30 frames per second for a long time, so I'm used to it at this point. The 60 frames per second was nice in 4 Ultimate. We can't lie about that. But I gotta tell you, I don't like how slow the game looks.
Yeah.
Alright, what do you think about the slowed down gameplay?
Wait, what?
What do you think about the slowed down gameplay?
Like, I'm just saying, wait, I have to fight an annoying monster for, like, how much longer?
It took, like, Kanta 40 minutes I think it took him 40 minutes to kill the Rathalos. I'm not so sure. It took him longer.
Jesus Christ, like, doesn't matter if there's no timer or not. Fucking hell. That's insane.
Now, this is a beta, so keep in mind they could change the monster health, but then Capcom was saying we made the beta easier for people. So it's like Capcom's inconsistent PR talk. They just need to shut up and focus on the game at this point. Just
Yeah.
put the beta out and then say, okay, we're gonna fix any issues that you spot, and if you see any issues, message them to us. We will patch them out. That is what determines good game developers, and they're not doing any of that. And that's what really worries me. They're just putting the beta out there like, oh, here you go. We made it easier, and then people are still struggling. It's not appealing to new people. I had a friend at my school. His name's Brandon Riggins, and he played the Monster Hunter World beta. And I asked him, so what did you think? And he said, well, my brother played it, and he wanted to try and get absorbed in the series, and it said it still felt like the same issue it had with drawing into the audience. It was still difficult to new people. I appreciate how they're trying to keep the difficulty. But if your main purpose, which is what they said in an interview, was to try and strike that Western market, you kind of just defeated your purpose, and you're not going anywhere. And you're turning away more of your old fan base. Now that's just with one person, but let's think of on the scale of more of a larger people if you're trying to draw in more people. How bad is that a failure if you can't even score a new thing in the market, Noah?
That's if your whole thing, like literally from the start, if your whole thing was, oh, we're going to make this for a new audience, you fucked up. I'm sorry.
Now, Brandon said he enjoyed the beta, but he said that the issues were the controls. They were out. I think they switched the attack button. I swear, if they go back to right analog stick attacking, I will sign a petition personally to get that changed. Even the White Knights will team up on that, because everyone knows how bad right analog stick attack gameplay is. Who's played the first games? It's terrible. Oh, God. But what's getting me is the fact that it's just the slowed down gameplay. If the gameplay wasn't so slow, I think it probably wouldn't be so bad. But that's what does it. The random jumps don't annoy me as much anymore because it looked like they sort of patched them out a little bit whenever they released the beta to everyone. Still looks a little unnatural. And like you said yourself, Noah, it doesn't really feel open world. It just feels like bigger maps
It just feels like a bigger map that's connected by small corner. Like that's really concerning me because I know how stuff works in AI and shit. And if an AI thinks that this is their path to go to the next area, and it's like too small for them to go through, then basically they're going to go and they're going to get stuck and they're just going to keep trying to walk towards that objective.
And here's another problem I have with the narrow corridors. Yeah, because I'm glad you brought that up. The narrow corridors. So you took the loading zone out and put something in probably considerably worse. Because now, if you get trapped in one of those corridors with a monster of, let's say, a Xananath, you're going to have a very, 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 very rough time hitting the monster. Let's just put it that way. You're going to get pushed around and slapped around. The knockback mechanic, from what I've seen, it's the same as how it's always been. Thank God they didn't change that.
Right.
But is that really a blessing in disguise? Because now it makes it worse. Because you're in this really small, tight corridor, and this may only be for one map, hopefully. That one map they kept showing off during the first beta. But you have all these small, narrow corridors. And if you're fighting a monster like Rathalos, or a monster like... Since we know that Devil Joe's here, Devil Joe is going to be in every map if they fall through with this. Imagine fighting Devil Joe in one of those small corridors.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't even want to fathom how bad that's going to be. So, honestly, is it really truly open world, or is it just a glorified, bigger version of a map?
Right.
May I add that the maps have similarities to 4 Ultimates maps with all the ledges and stuff.
Well, that's to be expected. Like that's going to be. I'm guessing that's going to be a standard now. The what is it?
For
it's going to be
ultimate
standard.
maps, yeah.
The verticality, even though as I've said before, I would very much like, even though it's unlikely, that very much like if they would attempt to redesign the underwater combat, and even put the underwater combat with the verticality, like that would be honestly just legitimately euphoric for me.
You see, that's the issue, though. They put. Oh, I can hear myself. I think they focused just too much on how the game was going to look, and they didn't think this through. You could have had probably the perfect Monster Hunter game with this, but I think they're not going for that. Because if you're appealing to the West, you have, as much as I hate to say this, you really have to make the game look 4K and all that. But the thing is, though, the game's not even 4K. It's 720p and 30 frames per second. So where are we going here? What does this all boil down to? It feels like it's just wasted potential.
Right.
Like, I'm sure everyone's going to point out, oh, it's just the beta, you guys got to calm down. Yeah, I understand that, but guys, you got to understand, it's December 17th. As soon as we're doing this, this video could be going up on the 20th for all we know. The game is coming. I know you are hyped, but you got to take in mind these things. These are not easy to patch out, especially when you're being hustled by your boss, basically. Can you imagine how stressed these devs are?
It's very stressful. Have you know that video game making is one of the most stressful businesses in the history in the world.
Yeah, and that's why I feel a little bad to be a boycotter in this sense, because I don't hate the devs. I don't hate that they want to try new things. I want to make that perfectly clear. I hate how their boss is handling this. The devs have been put in a very unfair situation to where it's always their fault. Like, no matter what they do, they can't do what they wanted. They can't do what they want to do. I don't think they really wanted to do this. Now that I look at this product, I think the Monster Hunter devs care about gameplay. But you have Capcom just... I really feel bad for the devs. If you just ask me, this is a whole big crap show. They got caught in the middle of it. And I think all the heat they're taking from the boycotters and just the anti-Monster Worlds in general, that could, as much as I hate to say it, that could affect World in a way.
Right.
This is a theory, but stress will take its toll on these guys. I have a hunch. In the end, though, they can probably fix these issues with the AI. I don't know how you're going to incorporate Devil Joe. Oof, that's the big one. I will be impressed if Devil Joe isn't like a microtransaction.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, man. I won't be surprised if they do it at this point. But I think that covers what we thought of World's gameplay. It's a little slow. That's to be expected. It's pretty much trying to cater to a new audience. I don't really care what they did with the weapons. The weapons, as far as I'm concerned, were pretty much untouched, other than that great sword. Yeah, no, I know you're not really hyped up about that. They kind of messed up great sword. That's Noah's main weapon. So, Noah, do you have like a secondary? We're not even getting the game in the first place, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm a Switch X user as well, so
I guess that. And then we could talk about the controls too, because I've heard a lot of complaints about the controls. There's like a video of NCH Productions basically going, "Oh my God, guys, yeah, if you've been used to the Nintendo controls, this game is going to be hard." Like, all the buttons are in this weird format too. Like, there's R1, R2, L1, and L2. They all use like this weird format. But honestly, I think the controls are the least of the concern now. I'd be more focused on trying to figure out how you're going to incorporate a Devil Joe into the gameplay without messing it up, and how you're probably going to fix the AI. That's, at this point, what saves this game.
right.
So, any parting thoughts on the gameplay before we head on to our final point, Noah?
Well, another thing I just a little nitpicky is gathering, and just you don't have to discuss very much. I'm just going to say that the mass gathering is not necessarily a quality of life thing. And I remember Gaijin actually saying, "Oh, it is a quality of life," and I was like,
Yeah,
"Not really."
we'll get on him in the next point because I think it's time we unvoice our silence on Gaijin. This is gonna get our video flagged, disliked. Oh, we're Noah. I hope you are ready to understand what happens if you criticize one of the most beloved figures in the community. It's not going to be pretty.
I know what it's like. I've seen what he's done to you.
Oh boy. So where am I gonna go with this? I want to start off because we're going to this next point. Noah made his point perfectly clear right there.
So basically, I said like the gathering, the mass gathering.
Yeah.
That's kind of I don't really see that very much as an improvement because it's always been like you've gathered like individual. Like you can say that it was so long and tedious and boring that it was to do this map, but like at the same time it's like it just seems weird to make it the way they did it in Worlds.
All right. So is that all you want to close with?
That's all. That's it. Because I agree with everything else you've said.
All right. Perfect. So we're going to move into the final point, which is what we were so scared about from the day we saw Sony getting this game and to the fall of EA, and that is microtransactions. You all know what they are. You essentially have to pay more to get the full game at launch, even though you already paid $60 initially. It's essentially theft in a way, if you think about it. You're having to pay more to already get the stuff that should be in the game in the first place. And guess what, guys? Unfortunately, that fear is true. I said true, confirmed. That we found out from a Famitsu interview, this one will be in the description as well, that microtransactions will in fact be in World. However, there is a however, it will be cosmetic as of right now. So I gotta say, for how much this is it's even if it's cosmetic, this is really, really, really bad. If you are a White Knight and you are like, or even if you are boycott or if you're White Knight, you guys better do something about this. This could not happen. This is gonna get into core gameplay somehow because somebody is gonna go, oh, I want to get more money, and then they're just gonna keep doing this, and they're gonna incorporate the microtransactions into the game. This cannot happen. This is the one thing I was harping on. I'm sorry, Noah, if I'm blowing your ears out, but this is really serious. You cannot let this happen. If you essentially give Capcom the keys to charge their consumers more than they're already getting, that's going to be an issue, and it needs to stop. Whoever is working at Capcom whoever is making these decisions, you need to stop whoever did this because it's going to incorporate itself into core gameplay somehow. I just don't know why. And Noah, didn't they basically say that we're not going to incorporate microtransactions into the game?
Yeah, there was even another YouTuber said they wouldn't devalue their game with microtransactions, and yet that is literally been confirmed false now. So like at the same time they say it's only cosmetic, but they always said that they weren't going to have it all together, but now they changed their mind. So there's literally no incentive to believe that they're telling the truth. Like, oh, we're just going to make it cosmetic. Like you said, wasn't going to be any at all. So now we have no reason to believe that you're just going to make it cosmetic.
See, and that just goes back to Oh, sorry, did I interrupt you?
And having that system will quite literally mean that you can have anything just put in.
Yeah, and that person who you're talking about, pretty infamous amongst us Nintendo fans, Jim Sterling, gave Breath of the Wild like a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10. Said it wasn't Game of the Year. Well, let's not talk about that bum. He basically like, yeah, they're not going to devalue the gameplay. Like, how can we trust these PR? How do we trust these guys? I'm trying to wrap my head around it at this point. Because you said originally, no, there's not going to be microtransactions. Well, what the heck is this? You have to you're upcharging us to freaking have the full game. Like, Capcom, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Oh, but that doesn't get into what they could do. So, they said, remember how they also had a recent interview and everyone in the group chat we were with was basically like, oh, they announced that there's going to be free DLC, guys. That was the most misleading thing I've ever seen in the group chat. Because it said they were thinking about doing free DLC.
Right.
Okay, this is not free DLC. It's a microtransaction. So, whoever said that that it's confirmed they're doing free DLC, you may want to get your sources checked.
Yeah, I would get on that right now. I mean, it's not something you should just like blow off.
Sorry if I startled you. It's just I feel very strongly about microtransactions. I know what they can do.
I completely agree. I don't think we have any different belief in that regard.
But it's just like, after seeing what happened with EA, why are they going down the same route? We already know how bad Battlefront 2 flopped. I should call it Battle Flop 2. So, they're going down the same exact path. But here's what they're going to do. The PR I can already see it. The PR team is basically going to say, oh, but it's not a microtransaction. But that's what it freaking is, you retards. That's what it is. And I'm sorry for using that, but I really hate Capcom's PR team. They are like the worst. They don't know how to handle anything. They couldn't even handle E3.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's like I'm sure we've already talked about that before. We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about that.
That's not something we really want to talk about. It's a little bit disappointing that exists.
Yeah, and how we all know their PR team sucks, though. They can't call anything right. They're like the Cherokee County freaking transportation department. It's snowing. Oh, send them all to school. Oh, this is the people who are watching the channel who are in Cherokee County. I was like, they can't do anything. It's like they've lied. And the best part is that the White Knights are still going to defend them.
Yeah.
And this is how Gaijin Hunter is going to get pulled into it. All right. I'm going to give some background history on what I think of Gaijin. I used to be subscribed to the dude. He was really good to get into if you were looking how to learn weapons.
Tutorials, weapon tutorials. Those are the reason I hopped on, and I even subscribed to him because of it.
All right.
So yeah.
I'm basically just going to give a brief history lesson of what I think was the personal fall of Gaijin from his elevated status to what I think of him now. And aside from the Twitter, I don't care what political affiliation you are right here, aside from the political virtue signaling about Trump all the time over his freaking social media sites, that got annoying after a while, he made a video as soon as, I think it was either the day after World was announced or the day World was announced. I'm going to give you guys a brief history lesson. The video is still there. Gaijin made a video that said MHW Salt Compilation. Noah, you've seen the video. I've seen the video. That is probably single-handedly what started all of this mess in the first place, other than Capcom's terrible PR team.
Right.
So...
Oh, man.
What happened?
No, keep going.
Alright. Now, in that video, Gaijin essentially said this. How dare you get mad? You have no right to be mad. all of you Nintendrones getting mad are too salty to understand the greatness of world. Monster Hunter did better with Sony, which is completely false. Monster Hunter actually sold 12 million more units with Nintendo than they did with Sony. I will link that.
He said, like, remember he actually started on Nintendo anyways, so I don't know. I can't trust him even when he says that, because he should be far more he should be far more of a Nintendo fan than what he is. He's got like some sort of connection with Capcom. You can't deny that.
And that's what gets me in the video too. He says at the beginning, this isn't me, I'm not talking out of Capcom's pocket. But bro, we know you are. You're in Generations. They literally reference you in Generations. You expect us to believe that? And on top of that,
were they referenced him?
Yeah, they reference him in Generations. There's like a thing that says, oh, there's like some foreign hunter or something like that, because we know Gaijin
means foreigner hunter, which is actually a derogatory term to Japanese people who go out of their way to stalk foreigners and try to impress them.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. So it doesn't matter. It obviously is kind of cute that he does it, because he actually is a foreigner himself. He lives in Japan. We all know that. He has a wife and daughter who are both Japanese, and well, so that it was kind of a funny inside joke when it happens, but still the fact remains, it's a derogatory term. It's like calling a black person an N-word. It's calling someone a stalker when they are a stalker. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I just want to make this perfectly clear. If anyone here is a fan of Gaijin who's subscribed, this isn't a hit piece on him. I'm not going to do all those retards in the Pokemon community who make these stupid videos about one freaking furry Pokatuber because they don't agree with him and cheating. But this is more of on the lines of, how dare you be all MHXX for the West and all of that crap. Then and even he got called out in the comment sections for this, because he made not one, but 2 inaccurate videos. The Salt one, and then the one that said, Monster Hunter Double Cross isn't an extension, it's not an expansion, it's an extension. But if you literally go to the dictionary right now, freaking Webster, what is the simile, or not the simile, the homophobe?
Definition.
I don't want to say, I almost said homophobe. Not the homophobe.
Homonym, I think. Homophone, yeah, the homophone.
The homophone. They are literally the same exact words. So, wait, I gotta go back to the Salt compilation. He basically just said we had no right to be angry. We, all the people who were salty should, quote-unquote, give World a chance, even though Capcom kind of freaking buried that on their freaking E3 fiasco with just by the way, we don't have any information on this game, but come check out this brand new flashy and shiny game, because we're just gonna, you Nintendo fans suck. They had to delete that tweet.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, without even trying. How do they do it?
So the 3 things he did wrong in that video was, 1, he said, I'm not out of Capcom's pocket, but we all know you get sponsored by them, dude. The official channel is subscribed to you. The second thing is that you only make it seem like the Nintendo fans are the bad guys, when there's the White Knights on the other side, essentially going out of their way and taking shots at the Nintendo fans who aren't even doing anything. That's honestly where the boycotters came in from. So you inspired this attack on one group of people, this one small minority of people who are complaining about literally nothing, and make it more bigger than it needs to be.
Fucking just absolutely disgusting.
And like I said, this isn't a hit piece on Gaijin. It's just critiquing, why would you make these 2 videos? There was no reason to make these videos in the first place.
Unless you were specifically operating on a agenda, Unless you were specifically operating on an agenda to White Knight for Worlds, there's no reason you should have had this.
Well, I think his 3 biggest strikes in that video were one, like already admitting out of the gate that he's not sold out to Capcom. Bro, come on! You are the face of the community. That's what I didn't like. Oh
He's
my
like,
god!
if Rathalos is the monster poster child, he is the hunter poster child.
Like, what did me in is someone's getting ready to virtue signal whenever they mention their state of power. And that's exactly what he did throughout most of that video. And I'm surprised he didn't even take that thing. Like, that video was really, really uncalled for. It's like, how these professional athletes, they basically have to go out on these fields and courts every day and get crap thrown at them and to have these nasty insults thrown at them as well. Do you think they, like, sit back and, like, shoot back at them? No, they just do their business, they move on. And it makes him look worse because he was all, oh, I'm going to be all Monster Hunter Double Cross for the West and all that. But as soon as World came out, he ditched it. Like that.
Yeah.
I think there was a meme someone sent me one time. It had, like, Gaijin Hunter's logo. You know, the dude who's, like, looking back at the girl, and the other girl's, like, looking at him angrily. It has Gaijin Hunter's logo with the double cross.
Nice.
But, yeah, that was the first video. And like I hammered, because I got too carried away back there a little bit ago, he did this twice. He did it in that one MHW Salt compilation, and then he did it with the freaking... Oh, well, you shouldn't be mad that Double Cross didn't come out. It was only an extension, not an expansion. So, first of all, your video title and thumbnail are stupid, because it's the same word. Second of all, it didn't add too much. Let's go over what Double Cross added, shall we, Noah?
Yep.
We have, let's see, we have Atlo Ka, we have Lao Shanlong to Nintendo fans who have never fought the thing before. We have, like, 5 new deviants or 8 new deviants. We get G rank altogether. I'm not saying that it should be priced at $40. Don't get me wrong. I think that they should really just start doing maybe like full game releases now. But it doesn't just add simple things. It adds a better online experience. It adds the thing that doesn't make the frame drop. I'm sorry, Generations had like really bad frame drops during points, and that honestly, that the Double Cross to the Switch edition fixes that. So I don't understand. Extension, not an expansion. That's the same exact freaking word in the first place.
Exactly.
And he got called out. He didn't get called out as much in the Salt compilation because nobody at that point was being attacked. It was just a small minority of people.
Right.
But he made it worse with that one video. And then you have this, it's an extension, not an expansion. He got called out so hard in that comment section by one dude who basically said, funny how you were all MHX for the West, but as soon as World came out, you took your opportunity to take a big, fat, explicitive on it. So, and then upon getting called out, Gaijin has to immediately defend his ego. And it's like, you don't have to defend yourself, dude. Just... You've already made it bad with this stupid MHW Salt compilation. That was the freaking line in the sand.
This is icing on the cake.
Now, I was already sort of having a falling out with Gaijin's channel because I'm not going to give my political beliefs on this channel, but it's if you are constantly going on about someone who isn't even your leader. He absolutely despises Trump with a burning passion, President Trump. So, not going to give my political affiliations. If your main job is to be the face of the Monster Hunter community, but you're over here on your social networking sites freaking out because the president recommended a book during hurricane season, maybe you aren't the right face for the community. I'm just saying, you probably shouldn't be discussing your political affiliations if you're being sponsored.
Right.
Another thing he went on too was like, oh, Trump will never be a hunter and stuff like that. Do you really think Trump gives a crap, dude? The dude is the president of the freaking United States. I'm pretty sure he has other stuff to worry about than what you think of him. And here you are in Japan, virtue signaling, and nobody gives a crap, but yet here you are pushing your agenda down everyone's throats.
Right.
Like, Republican, Democrat, I don't care what the heck anyone in this who's subscribed to me identifies as. That is out of control. And I'm pretty sure it's still out of control to this point. There was one thing I read into it, like he apparently retweeted fake news, I think, at one point, and so many people are like, delete this. It was probably Capcom begging him to do that too, but you can't be the face of a community if you go on political tirades.
Right.
I think that's honestly why I'm going to say it right here. I think we need a new community leader.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of Gaijin. I hope the best for him and his family. I hope he has a good YouTube career, but guys, I gotta be honest, with the decisions he's been making and the type of, white knighting, he is the king of the white knighters, in my honest opinion. So, that's just my honest take on Gaijin, and I think we need a new leader. I'm all for Kanta being the leader. I just want someone who's neutral.
Yeah.
Who won't white knight, who isn't boycott, who isn't white knight. I just want someone who's neutral.
Right.
And that's my thoughts on Gaijin. Now, Noah, what do you think?
Again, I have nothing to spoil that. I just completely agree that what he's done was absolutely and disgustingly uncalled for.
Yeah. So, let's just say I found a newfound respect in some people after that night and a newfound disrespect. Because, guys, I'm going to be completely honest with you. That night really made that I got depressed after that night. That's honestly when things started to go downhill. But at the same time, Noah, this is going to sound freaking corny as crap. I was able to find people like Noah who agree with me, so at the same time, you got something good out of it, and it honestly brings you closer to people you never thought you'd ever have the same viewpoints with in the first place.
Right. It's just a fucking shit show, man.
It is. But I want to make this perfectly clear. This is not me telling you to go to Gaijin and repeat what I said, because that's just going to be the same freak. I'd be no better than just going on and virtue signaling myself. But it's how I feel. Like, how many subscribers he has? Like 130K? I have 28. This 28 subscriber YouTuber, nobody's going to give a crap what I think.
Right.
So at this point, I don't care. Noah, I'm sorry if I ate up so much of your talking time right there.
It's fine. It's fine.
This is.
I don't have much. I'm not someone who is really good with conversation.
You gave a pretty good points this podcast. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I think that boils down to an hour and 13 minutes and 39 seconds. Oh my god.
nice.
Yeah, I honestly, it started slow, but then as we got through the topics, it got really, really, really nice and interesting. So, to the person who commented on our last partner podcast when I was with Noah, thank you so much for your criticism. If you are still watching, he probably isn't, who knows. Tell us what you think about our addressing what we thought. I gotta address the sales numbers, the link website. Should I address Gaijin's idiotic video as well, or do I just keep that out?
What is this idiotic video?
He has two, my bad. I just keep them out. They'll know what I'm talking. I'm pretty sure all the people who play Monster Hunter who are subscribed to me pretty much have him on like things. They'll know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But yeah, I just want to clarify that this is not a hit piece on Gaijin. The dude has a beautiful daughter. I'm sure he has a beautiful wife, and whatever you're supposed to say after that. But that's it's just how it is. Any parting thoughts, Noah?
I have none. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, I think that wraps up a pretty good podcast. I liked this one better than the than our what was it?
Original.
Yeah, our original one where we just talked about the beta gameplay. Got more a little passionate into this one.
Mm-hmm.
That was mainly on my end. Noah, I feel like I didn't give you a lot of time to talk.
No, you were the one who needed to talk more. I was just here for the ride.
Oh yeah, yeah. Noah was basically my backup here. If there's any topics you guys want us to talk about, like, because I know I tried Pokemon. I don't know how well that one did. I think it got like 20 views, but the Monster Hunter ones in particular always do better. So yeah, I think that's what it boils down to. Like, we discussed the leak. We talked about portable fifth. We talked about the beta gameplay. We talked about the list of monsters. And then to finish it off, we talked about microtransactions and what they're doing and how Capcom's horrible PR team is lying to the fan base. And then we talked about Gaijin's white knighting and then BS. So I think that's a very powerful podcast, and that's a good ending point.
All right.
So yeah, guys, thank you so much again for listening to us ramble, mainly me, for like a minute and hour, 16 minutes and 27 seconds now. We all hope you all enjoyed this podcast. As always, catch us in the next one. I don't know if Noah's going to be with me or not. I don't even know what the next topic is going to be. I think, honestly, we probably should take a break from these podcasts. So,
Yeah.
yeah. After the next beta, maybe after Christmas, we may start getting into what to expect from the Nintendo Direct in January. Will it be towards the end of the month, at the beginning of the month, or something like that? And what we start to expect that will come out of it. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. As always, leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.